first off, to change the size of your brush, there's many different ways of doing it, but you can do it a couple different ways. Let me share with you a modern way and an old school way. You'll find me using the old school way because I've done it for 20 years. And so it's so programmed in. By the time I think of the new way, I've already done it the old way, and I don't do it. So let me show you the new way first, so you can be gotten into it with a more modern method. Then I'll show you what I'm actually doing so that you know both. I'm going to hold down two keys on my keyboard. The keys are right next to each other on my keyboard. And on a Mac, it's Control and Option. So that it should be Control and Alt, I believe, in Windows. Although I haven't tested it in Windows, so it might be slightly different. When I hold down those two keys, I can click the mouse, and I see a preview of what it would look like if I were to paint. That's what the red stuff is. And it tells me the settings for the brush. It tells me how soft the edge is. It tells me how large it is. And if I drag horizontally, I can change how big my brush is. But what's nice is I'm seeing a preview. Usually the only preview you see is a little circle, and most people think that circle represents the edge of your brush, but it doesn't. It indicates where your brush is halfway done fading out. If it has a soft edge, it's halfway through the softness. Now, if I drag left and right, I change the size. If I drag up and down, I can change how soft the edge is. And that's when you might notice that that red overlay actually goes beyond the circle that you usually see to indicate your brush. So what was I just doing? I was holding down two keys. They're right next to each other. It's Control and Option. Okay? And then you drag one direction, left and right, to change size. Drag up and down to change how soft the edge is. And that's useful because you're seeing a visual preview. And therefore you can say, does this match the edge quality of my image, or does that? So it's a little easier. Now, what I was actually doing, though, just because I'm old school and I'm too programmed to be doing it, is to change the size of my brush. I use the square bracket keys. Smaller brush, larger brush. And to change how hard the edge is, you add Shift. So if I hold Shift and I use the right bracket, it's getting a harder edge. And you can see it if you look up here. Watch that little guy. I'll hold Shift and I'll do left bracket. Can you see that getting softer? Right bracket, harder. And I think there's a total of 5 settings when you use this keyboard shortcut because it does it in 25% increments. So that means 100, 75, 50, 25, and 0 are the hardness settings you can get to. So that's what I was doing, is holding Shift and using the brackets, but it might be better to hold Control and Option, click, and then drag because you can see it. And therefore, it's easier to judge when it would match the edge quality of your image.